Hello, welcome to our video. We are from Group 1 and now we will present the method of teaching speaking English in senior high school. And we call this method Kokobol. Okay, first let me introduce our group members. There are Fahira Koturnada, Rahma Hairani, Agung Irfantri, I, Ulfama Prido, Evi Nur Fadilah, and Vina Nilnalmuna. Okay, now we will explain the meaning of Kokobol. Kokobol is an abbreviation of three English teaching methods. For the first co means cooperative method, second co means communicative language teaching method, and BOL means blended and online learning method. So we are combining several of the teaching speaking English method in senior high school. Then in this video, we will explain about description, principles, advantages and disadvantages of each method, and procedures for using this method in the classroom. So, first, Fahira will explain about cooperative method. Fahira, please.
All right, thank you to moderator. So here I will explain about the first method that we use, which is cooperative method. So you can see on the screen that Slavin said, in CL or cooperative learning method, students work in small groups to help one another in learning academic content, which means the process of cooperative method involves the students to work together in small group to understanding the material, to complete the project, to solve the problem, and so on. So in this method, the role of teacher is as facilitator. The teacher have to monitor group and observing how students collaborate, communicate, and contribute to complete the task. So what about the principles of this method? Please next. Okay, there are 5 principles in this method. The first one is heterogeneous grouping, which means mix all the students with different level skill of language in the same group. The second one is teaching collaborative skill, which means students have to build their relationship with their team, working well in group and creating positive environment. The next one is maximum peer interaction. It also about build relationship between each other members. The fourth is positive interdependence, which means the belief of anyone that working together is better than individual work. And the last one is the students are active participants. The student must active during group discussion and they have to speak. So what about the advantages and disadvantages of this method? There are 3 advantages of this method. The first one is enhances students' oral communication through critical thinking and meaningful interaction. The second one is can help the students in speaking by sharing ideas in pair and in a group. And the last one is in the small group of the class, the students will experience English directly and naturally. Let's move on to the disadvantageous one. Please next. Okay, there are 5 disadvantages of this method. The first one is presence of the conflict. Of course, because in the group there are so many different ideas, so the student have to respect each other. The second one is unequal participant, and the next one is avoiding the tasks, time consuming, and the last one is individual needs are dominated by the needs of the group. That means not all the students learn in the same way, so some may need more time to understand the material and process the information. Yeah, maybe that's all from me. Back to the moderator.
All right. Thank you, Fahira. And next, Rahma will explain about communicative language teaching method. So for Rahma, please.
Thank you, moderator. All right, then I will explain the second method, which is communicative language teaching method. So, the description of this method is defined as an approach of teaching a second of or a foreign language that focuses on learners' interaction, whether as the means or the ultimate goal of learning a target language. Interaction here means an activity in which 2 or more parties affect upon one another. Next. There are 6 principles in CLT. 1. Listen to the language used as authentic communication. 2. Students should be given an opportunity to express their ideas and opinions, such as creative space. 3. Target language is a vehicle for classroom communication. 4. Communicative interaction, whether it is between students or students and teachers. 5. Teacher has to promote communication, and 6. Errors are tolerated. Next. And here are the advantages of communicative language method. First is the ability of the students to practice language in social context is getting better. Second, students are not easy to forget the vocabulary or structure related to the context. Third, students can directly know how to pronounce words or sentences in a correct way. Fourth, communication can be achieved. And the last, the tendency of students to seek the real example about notion which is poured into text or conversation. Next, we move to disadvantages 1. Here are disadvantages. First, lack of focus on grammar because CLT prioritizes communication over grammatical accuracy and difficult to assess. It can be challenging to assess students' communicative competence and requires skilled teachers. Implementing CLT effectively requires teachers to have a high level of skill and flexibility and not suitable for all students because some students may prefer a more structured learning environment and may struggle with the open-ended, interactive nature of communicative language teaching method. Maybe that's all from me. Back to moderator.
Okay, thank you, Rahma. Next, Agung will explain about blending and online learning methods. So, Agung, please.
Thank you for the time. Okay, let me explain about the last but not least method, blended and online learning. As you can see on the screen, the main point here is the difference in percentage between blended and online learning. During the pandemic, this method became the most widely used by teachers. All of them used online learning, but after the lockdown stopped, the teachers moved to blended learning. Let's move to the principle. There are 6 principles in blended and online learning. 1. Learner-centered education. 2. Collaborative and interactive learning. 3. Metacognitive awareness. 4. Increased flexibility. 5. Immediate feedback. And 6. Multimodal content. Many teachers using this method because of several advantages. Next, there are the advantages of these methods. First, a place to practice outside the classroom, flexibility learning, more individualized learning experience, personal learning support, and supporting independent and collaborative learning. Similar like the previous methods, this method also has disadvantage. The disadvantages are error connection occurred, internet quota constraints, miscommunication on online and offline learning, and the last one is a lot of text filled up. So that's all for me. Back to moderator.
All right, thank you, Agung. And finally, Effie and Vina will explain about procedures for using these methods in the classroom. So, for Effie and Vina, please.
All right. I will deliver about the procedures, but before we are going to the procedures, I will explain to you about what teachers do for preparation before class. The first one, you need to make syllabus, and second, prepare the materials that will be delivered in the class, and the third, decide the media that we'll use in teaching speaking, and four, make student engagement score that list that will recorded the score of students. The five, make a list of some group when using cooperative learning. And six, prioritize student talking time rather than teacher talking time by using communicative language teaching. And the last, create an online platform using to collect students' assignments when using blended and online learning. And then we are going to the procedures. These procedures is indicated when you are in class. The first one is warm-up activity. In this stage, you need to make approaches to your students like ask their readiness, ask their condition, ask their absent, and then you can make a brainstorm in here. And second is introduction. In the section, you start to make introduce about yourself or about the material that will be delivered. So that's for me, and the next will be delivered by Fina.
Okay, thank you, Effie and Ulfa. I will explain about the third in procedures is exercise. In individual exercise, after the teacher delivers the material, students will be asked about the material that still confused them. After all, the material is clear, then some students are randomly selected to answer questions about the material has been explained. Students will be asked to do individual exercise by giving independent assignments during online learning, and the assignments are collected during offline learning. The method is in line with blended and online learning. And the next is in-group assignment. Students will be given to discuss with friends in the group that has been determined. This method is aligned with the cooperative method and communicative language teaching. And to practice students' speaking skills, the exercise for the group is to discuss the material in depth about the list of unknown words and their pronunciation. The student will be asked to find the meaning and pronunciation of these words on online learning media such as YouTube or learning websites. Then, student will make a short speech with these words. And the last is feedback. In the feedback stage, student will be given feedback by the teacher in the form of appreciation with praise, then given input on their weaknesses during the short speech. That's all from me. Back to moderator. Thank you.
All right, thank you. And the conclusion is we combine several methods of teaching speaking English to maximize students' learning outcomes, because if we only use one method, then learning will feel monotonous. Sometimes students need study in groups to improve their speech communication through critical thinking and meaningful interaction. And however, students also need to learn individually so that they can practice language in a social context better. And by utilizing existing technology to practice the target language outside the classroom, providing flexible learning anytime and anywhere, so that learning is more enjoyable. Okay, maybe that's all our explanation about the speaking English teaching methods in senior high school. If you have any questions, you can ask in the comments below. And we hope that what we said earlier can be useful for all of us in the futures. And thank you for watching and paying attention. See you at another time.